But I remember that, I was trying to learn algebra and I couldn't learn it. I couldn't learn it from one math tutor, two math tutors, three. I went through a slew of these people. They couldn't reach me. But I finally came to somebody that explained it in a way that worked for my brain. And I got it. And I was like, right on. Now it's like, whoa, it's so freaking simple now. And it was such a beautiful thing. But that's what it took. So in life, that's what it takes. One guy can't explain it. Two guys, this guy can't explain it. Somebody else finally reaches them and explains it in a way where they got it now. They're empowered. And they have that confidence. They feel, it feels really good. I'm smart. I can learn anything if I put my mind to it. And we all can learn. And that's what it's like. It's like we don't throw our pearl before swine. We've got to say, look, that somebody else may be better suited to reach this person. And maybe when they're ready to listen, they'll hear. But we've got to move on. We've got to move on to other people and just try to influence the conversation and to put ideas out there that other people pick up on and explain things in as concise and coherent manner as we can so that, the information can be passed along in a way that's clear and irrefutable, because there is certain things about existential issues like philosophy and the big picture and the small picture and how it relates to our existence and our reality, and where we're going from here. We have to understand that these are imperative issues, our values, and influencing other people, and how the fact that we can have a say in this conversation and where it goes, and in attaining happiness. Our own happiness is inextricably involved in our understanding, in right values, and helping other people to establish right values. And these things are not, they're not always so nebulous, okay, like existential. Even that word, to understand that word is not easy, okay, and it's not really even that clear in my mind. It's just kind of it's an existential term, which sounds like an oxymoron. I don't know what it sounds like, okay, it just sounds weird. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's very tangible use for knowledge and how it relates to these matters of spiritual growth, let's say, just the growth of the species, to being empowered, okay, and being enlightened in the way that God wants us to. And that is economics. That's where understanding economic principles comes in. You need to understand the nuts and bolts of economic matters. You need to understand what Adam Smith was getting across. When if you could sum up everything Adam Smith taught, he'd probably be in this. Just always remember that the single greatest asset any nation can ever own is a willing workforce, okay? That's it. I mean, just like you walk away from the Bible, like what Jesus said, he said you could sum up all the law and all the prophets in this. To love God above all else with your whole heart, soul, spirit, mind, and body, because that makes logical sense. That's reasonable. He's your owner, your creator. He gave you everything. Your ability to think. So what else didn't he give you? He gave you everything. And then love one another as yourself. See how succinct that is? Could it be more succinct? So then to sum up, economic principles, and fundamentally nobody can argue that point. That if labor is every nation's single greatest asset, then why is it topsy-turvy? Why is it so skewed in the other direction? That we belittle labor and we belittle those that are the greatest asset to our society, that are willing to do those menial jobs out there, that get no glory, that get no spotlight, no limelight. They don't get the credit. They don't get the applause. And and that's measured in their wages. Do you understand? That's how we show the worth, right? No, we value the brain surgeon, we value the lawyer, the property manager, the Donald Trumps, the Warren Buffetts out there, the Bill Gates out there. Now these people are who's really valuable, and the evidence is how they've amassed these great fortunes, right? It's the upper class. These are the ones that have done it, but really that's not true. That is ungodly belief. But yet look how easily we all fall into it. You see, we've really got to see things through divine eyes and say, God, help me. Help me to be serious. Help me to not make light of this matter of salvation, where I go from here. I don't want to go to Dante's Inferno. I don't want to go to this place called hell with these hypocrites. I don't want to be a money lover. I want to see that money is the root of all evil. I want to understand the nuts and bolts about economic matters so that I can understand why Jesus said the love of money is the root of all evil. And he likened it to a false competing God. And he said that you can't serve two masters. And he said the things highly valued among men are detestable in the sight of God. I want to know the truth. I want to know what's this all about. You know, what's Keynesianism? Was Keynes a bad guy? No, but he understood about the cash flow, the velocity of currency. But you got to have checks and balances. You can't have somebody, sitting there in this cash flow that's going about in society, and we're all, prosperous and freely spending and freely giving and getting at the same time and passing it along. You can't have somebody in there just taking it all and hoarding it all and depleting what would normally be in the cash flow and the velocity of currency. So it would work. But we've got to have morality and ethics at the end of the day. We've got to have checks and balances, accountability, and oversight by who? We, the people deciding our own financial destiny. And that means a place where we're free, not some of us, full freedom, universal freedom, which includes universal security. It's all part and parcel. Again, you can't feel free when you're living in fear. That's antithetical to being free. So you've got to say, no, in order to be free, I must be out of fear. Who's keeping me in fear? How are they doing it? And I'm telling you how they're doing it, by giving you unsound currency. I'm going to say it again. I've said it a million times, but every video, who knows who's watching, who's going to take it and run with these principles and just pass it along. That's all I want. I don't need any credit for what I'm saying. All I need is people to take what they hear. Okay, because I do other things to get by, to buy the bread in my mouth. But again, I didn't create this camera. I didn't create this microphone, that computer, nothing. I didn't grow the coffee beans for my coffee in the morning. I didn't do anything for myself. I just want the ideas to go out there. Okay, and I want people to build each other up and understand that their own selfish happiness depends on the happiness of others. That your welfare depends on their welfare. This is an immutable law, a fail-safe God put in the mix, so that we could fight this good fight and help others to fight it, encourage others and comfort them and show them to the way, the truth, and the light. Okay, and teach them sound economic principles and help them understand why it's so radical, why it's so controversial to just simply have sound currency. Sound currency is evidenced by its gradual, perpetual increase in worth. That's what it does, folks. And if it's not doing that, by evidence, it's unsound. Okay, and the reason for this is very simple. It's very simple capitalistic supply and demand free market principles. It's like what happened to the VCR, okay? It's the law of diminishing returns. It's what's supposed to happen. That's not a bad thing. That just means wow, it cost me less. So all those people that had jobs in the oil industry and they lost their job, at least their price of fuel is down. Their gasoline dollars are worth more, and they can find another job where they're needed. Who wants to do a job they're not relevant as? We got so many potholes. I mean, why aren't we soliciting more people to do this work? Is it so hard to fill in a pothole? We got to put some orange cones out here and have these guys, maybe I'm going to contact my local soup kitchen about starting that, the Jesus Center here. What can we get some granting, some funding, give these guys, jobs where they're really useful. That's what they really want. They want to be useful. They want to be wanted and needed by society. They don't want to live in dumpsters. Let's help them. Let's assist them. Okay, let's just do something as a family of man. And knowing that we're going to stand before God, mono and mono. We're going to stand before our Creator, and we're going to answer for our belief system. And remember, it's very powerful, those beliefs you embrace and behold, those ones you trust and have faith in, because you will go and fight and die and kill others for those beliefs. So beliefs are very powerful. These are our fruits. By our fruits, we will be known. So we want good and clean fruits. We want a pure heart before God first and foremost, but then before our fellow man. And we want to go out there and help people and lift them. So teach them sound economic policies. Teach them the whys and wherefore. because we learn easier and easier methods to create the things we want and need. That's why the cost keeps going down and the worth of your currency keeps going up. And then what? Yeah, eventually none of us even care that you got all these people willing to give freely their goods and services. They're all yours to take. That's it. And you are beholden to conscience. That's your umbilical card to God. That's your umbilical cord. That is what will assure that you stay in His graces and in His happiness, to go out there and be willing to use your talents, okay, to go out there and be relevant, to give unto and of yourself to others freely, because you have been freely given. And remember, it's going to get better and better from here. Remember the big picture. Remember the renewal of all things and the destiny for humanity. An imperishable body, okay, and a world and earth that's perfect down to the smallest detail. This is what is going to take place. Believe it. This is what is written. And if there's one thing you can hang your hat on, is that God can't lie. That's it. Let every man be called a liar, but God can't.